Good morning. Good morning. It's time to start our day. Good morning. Good morning to you and you and you and you and you and you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So I was just chatting with the group before we start the recording. We're going to play with sort of an all over. We've got stuff with the chattering of the mind. We've got stuff in our outer side, body lateral sides. We've got stuff in our hips, all the way down. So we're just going to do a hello overall. And then I was saying I wanted to play with the idea of silence, this idea of silence, the space between the breaths, the space between the thoughts, the space between my shoulder and the wall, my back and the chair, like really feeling the space and the silence around us, and playing with that today. Because remember, it's like I always like to say, I'm not the teacher, right? I'm not the teacher, especially here on remote, because I can't see you. I'm not your teacher. I'm a distiller. I'm giving you some thoughts to ponder, and then you are turning on your own inner teacher, and you are really setting with your own self. And that coming from the silence place is that inner teacher. Okay, that's where that peace and contentment come from too. So let's make our way over to the mat and sitting with this idea of silence. So we're going to take our first centering in whatever comfortable position feels right for you. Maybe it's Sukhasana here, which is this cross-legged position. If your knees are high like this, you want to be higher up on a bolster. Perhaps your knees can be down without the bolster. So find your position. Sitting up nice and tall. And I'm just going to sway. Perhaps you like that idea too, or you're sitting still. Start to feel that, like I said, space, that space to the left of you, the space to the right. Almost like if you were on a raft in the waves of the pool, sort of like react, the body has to have that wave as that wave comes under you. You can feel sort of that wave on the space next to you, almost like you're buoying here in this space. Start to slow down your breathing, creating that Samavriti breathing pattern. Inhale and exhale equal in length. And we're here for another minute or so, just noticing the pause, the slowing down, the calibrating. This moment here, this moment right now, this moment here, this moment right now. About 3 more breaths here with this gentle rocking, this lullaby here as we move into total stillness in about 3 more breaths. Come to stillness here. Move your way into stillness. As the outer body becomes still, start to feel that inner body, that inner movement, the breath. Activating that Ujjayi breath if you're familiar with that pattern. Starting to turn on those antennas. What are the noises that you hear? Without labeling, judging, or thinking, to see if you can register the different noises that are around you right now. Can you start to turn your ears, your sound antennas towards the silence, beyond the sounds? Where can you hear silence? We'll be here for 2 minutes. Where is the silence? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Start to come back here. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Okay. So I don't play the violin and I'm totally making this up, but I want to imagine that the bow, right? The bow is like a rubber band. And if we turn the bow tiny bit, the sound quality is changing. If we turn it the other way, the sound quality is changing. As an early violinist, which I'm not a violinist, but if I were, but if you learn how to turn, right, you can sort of get into that deeper level. I'm also thinking of a baby, sitting in the high chair trying to pinch the Cheerios, right? At first, the baby can't even find that dexterity, but then the baby's able to pinch it and then put it in its mouth and then open the hands to release. These fine-tuning details is what I'm thinking about today. When we fine-tune, where is the silence? It's hard to find it, and not everybody's going to be able to find it as we approach class today. So it's that fine-tuning of your mind to be able to go a little bit deeper than the horn honking or the baby crying or the dishwasher dinging. It's like they're going in. So play with tuning your mind as we explore today. Okay. All right. So we're going to take ourselves. If you're needing to switch your gears, go ahead and come off. We're going to drop the left knee out. Right knee up, double check that you're keeping your toes plugged into the ground. So this right toes are really plugging in. You don't want to hurt this knee. We're going to turn our body towards this left knee and either go down if that's comfortable for you or just find the twist. Notice I'm not turning to the wall behind me. I'm getting more into this outer hip. So taking your blocks. My right sits bone is up. It's floating in air. That's okay. And I'm going to drop the chin to the chest and just stretch out this back tissue. And again, turning the bow on the violin, allow yourself to shift what the mind is thinking about. You can choose to stretch out the fascial tissue in the back by watching yourself breathe into the fibers. That's one tuning of the brain, the mind. Or get into the pose and seek out the silence. 8 breaths. Beautiful. Gently come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Now, some of you will be able to drop this knee down. Okay, that's one option. Or working deeper, you could even put this top of the right foot. So here was my leg. I'm turning it down and I'm putting the top of the ankle, top of the foot inside that arch. That's one option here. Okay. And I'm still having my front part of my body looking at you, although my knees are like this. If this isn't going to work for you, you can always do some variation. Okay. And we're going to open up this side body. So left elbow down, you could use your block. Maybe you don't need the block. Maybe you can go all the way to the floor and just stretch. So nice. Reaching that right arm up. Come on up. Grab the ankles and switch. Going over the other side a little bit. Reach. Where's that inner teacher? How can your teacher guide you right now? Is it more breath that you're needing? Is it focusing and quieting of the mind chatter that you're needing? Is it to adjust your ankles? Listen to your own sounds. Another 5 breaths. Beautiful. Come on out of that. And back to center. Cat cow yourself a little bit. Beautiful. Let's drop that right leg out again, plugging in this left big toe. Very important. We're going to turn. If you need the blocks, you're going to grab your blocks, turning towards this right knee now. Keep this knee up. None of this leaning out. We want to keep it nice and neutral. Turning, aiming your heart towards the knee. Again, that left sits bone's coming up. That's okay. And we're here about 10 to 12 breaths. Again, maybe you're stretching the fibers with your breath. You're really breathing into this outer right flank, this right outer hip. Or maybe you're just watching for the silence. Go seek it. Where do you see and hear silence? Excellent. Come on back up. Back up again, broads twist. Maybe you'll bring your top of foot to the arch and turn your front pane of the body towards the front here. Maybe you'll have a block. Okay, taking your right elbow down or on the block, and notice how the elbow is right underneath my shoulder to keep those shoulders safe, and then stretch. Whatever you need to do here, another 8 breaths. Go seek the lesson. Go find the lesson for you. Beautiful. Slowly come on up and switching sides. Three. And beautiful. Gently come on up, come on up, come on up. And let's make our way back to being in a neutral position. Feet on the floor and just some cat-cows. Drop the chin to the throat. Back and forth. Back and forth. Three more. Some of you will stay there doing that. Some of you might want to come into a boat pose or Upavista Konasana. or you're still doing your cat-cow, or you're doing one leg at a time, just calibrating again to that inner teacher, that inner body, that inner breath, from the gross level of us all the way to the subtle. Feel the way the body feels, tight maybe, restricted maybe, tense. How does the breath feel as you're here? How does the mind feel? What's it chattering about? What does the emotion feel? 8 more breaths. Seek the silence. Beautiful. Come on down, come on down, come on down. Perhaps you spent your time just now trying to do that pose or trying to achieve something, right? That's not silent. So just notice it as we come back to it the next round. Okay, we're going to go back to left knee down again. This time we're going to take our right arm up. Feel the perpendicular quality, right? Perpendicular is like this. This is your spine. This is the floor. So your spine is as straight as you can make it, and the floor, the hips are as level as you can get them. Bring your right elbow inside this knee. Push the knee into the elbow and the elbow into the knee. Maybe you're more like this today. Maybe this is not happening for you, or maybe you're not even able to bring that leg as far in. You could just clip it like this, right? However you need to do it. If it's not working at all, maybe you'll hold the leg, right? Find a place that works for you. Turn on that inner teacher. Some of us are hooking that elbow. Now push these two together. Have a dialogue here. Reach your left arm back and then level out the rib cage. So level out the rib cage. I've mentioned before that seated twists, what we're doing right now, I think are very intermediate, if not advanced poses, because there's a tendency to compress the lower back. So I need to lift the roof of my mouth as high up as I can go. And I need to relax that tailbone to drop down and keep feeling myself lifting up. Okay. We're going to go looking for silence again, trying to seek out the silence here in this posture. Once we're here, we're going to just go in. Here we go. And coming back. Do you feel that tuning of the bow? I mean, it's so slippery if that losing silence, going into thought, just so easy to do. So we're just there. I'm doing it again. I'm leaving the moment again. I'm pulling back again. Watch. It's so fascinating. Let's take the other leg, please. Left arm up. Maybe you'll find that this is easier. Maybe not. And I'm also noticing that the ringing out, like the engagement of the twist isn't happening as deeply when I'm looking for the silence. So you're getting to a posture, a place, and then you're just stopping and being there now. Okay. 8 to 12 breaths. Here we go. Level out those ribs, lifting out of that pelvis. Surrender. So good. And come on back out. Again, finding that cat-cow tilt. Tune your mind. Three more deep breaths. Again, maybe grabbing your thighs, maybe continuing to do that, maybe going up to Navasana, boat pose and playing, maybe again going up to Upavista Konasana. Get into the puzzle piece, whatever it is for you, and then go seek out that silence. You got to use those pincher fingers to find it. It's so easy to sort of stab at it or grab at it, but it's very subtle. And coming down, down, down when you are ready. Beautiful. If you have a blanket here, leave it here. If you don't have one, go grab one. We're going to take a block and we're going to take our hair down. So ponytails out. Yoga hair is a real thing because you don't want your head to be uneven, right? And if you've got a big old ponytail there, it's not going to be very relaxing. So take the hair down or move it away. And we're going to take this blanket right at the shoulder blade level. So we're going to have our shoulder blades on the blanket, but then our head and our arms off. So find the position that's comfortable for you. Your shoulder blades are very protected here, held on that mat. Walking the feet slightly away from you so that they're right underneath the knees. Pushing onto the outer edges of the foot, plus plugging in the big toe. Just feel that action. Make any adjustments in the ride of your pelvis. Maybe you'll lift up the pelvis and reset it. I'm grabbing opposite elbows here. Maybe you'll find more of a goalpost arm is relaxing. We don't want to have them down by the hands. I'm sorry, by the hips. If this is the only way you're comfortable, then come off of the blanket because it's not going to serve you. Okay. So what we're trying to do is open up our chest, open up our armpits and our lateral sides. You could play here and just keep picking up the hips and resetting that tailbone towards the knees. Once you've gotten your position comfortably, we're going to just surrender here again and tune towards the stillness. 12 breaths. When you're ready, whenever you're ready, we're going to take a block between our thighs. And we're going to go to Setu Bandhasana bridge pose, so taking yourself up. Some of you might want to even take a restorative bridge where there's a block underneath your sacrum. Some of you may want to take more of a dynamic bridge, whatever floats your boat, whatever floats your Navasana, and just hold here. Again, 12 breaths, noticing the rhythm, noticing the ride of your human suit, right? We're a bag of bones. We've got bones and muscles, but we also have this shape, this connective tissue. Watch how your packaging is holding you. Is there somewhere that it's tight, somewhere that it's loose? Taking this 8 to 12 breaths in that surrender. Beautiful. Take your time now. We're going to come out of this posture. Move slowly. Take your time. We're going to roll off into fetal pose with a pillow. I'm still on my blanket here underneath my ribs. My arm is completely on the mat, and I have a pillow for my head. You can have it whatever height you need it. Come all the way to the edge of your blanket, okay, so or bolster. You're all the way to the edge. And we're going to bring our wrists or hands together. And then maybe you'll just watch me for a moment. We're going to inhale and then exhale, open the chest and just rolling open as much as we can. And then closing. We'll do this about 12 times. I talked at the beginning about how space is around us from my shoulder to the wall, right? From my back to the back of the chair. Can you feel yourself pushing and dancing with this space? The resistance of moving through the current of the air. Like you're paddling through water, just paddling through this space. Gently, gently opening. Shatara Parivartanasana, reclining twist. Again, seeking the silence. Try not to do the pose, but use the pose. You're looking for a stillness and the breath and the silence. So nice. So nice. Come on up. Let's go to fetal pose on the other side, left side, to the edge of your blanket or bolster or pillow. Just holding here. Physical body is still, but man, is the breath moving, and man, oh man, is that mind chatter moving. So just because we're physically still, go in and look at all that internal movement. And then can you tune the bow of your mind? Can you sharpen the knife of your mind and see below that movement to the silence? 8 to 12 times, finding that opening again. One more. And come to that Shatara Parivartanasana again and just breathe. When you are ready to come out, pause. And when you're ready, pushing yourself up, 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 up. Now, we mentioned before our recording hit that we could use a foam roller if we wanted to. So if you wanted to spend this next couple of minutes, getting on to the foam roller and rolling out that armpit. Some of us had some tight tension there. That's one option here. If you wanted to roll out, if your knees are bugging you, sometimes it's nice to start on your hands and knees, taking a foam roller and rolling out those quadriceps, right? It does take some strength in the wrists. Or you could do one leg at a time, like a tabletop pose, and just do it like that. That's a little bit easier. Okay, so if you want to do that, go ahead and make your way there. I'm going to take you through just noticing again some of this back tissue, some of this lower back stuff. And if it doesn't feel nice for you, then you're going to skip it. You can put your bottom on a blanket, or you could use a block or something underneath your knees here if you're feeling that you're not open too much in those hammies. Okay. And all we're going to do here, is point and flex the ankles. So finding a position that's nice and comfy. Okay. Start to tip the chin over. Let yourself have a little bit of a slouch here. Again, you could have your blocks nearby. Turning the kneecaps to the sky and the toes fired towards the knees. Point and flex. Point. Two more. All right, now point the toes to the wall in front of you, and 12 breaths, we're going to forward fold. Chin to the throat, pointing your toes to the wall towards you, in front of you, and just forward fold. Notice the tight suit. Notice the seams, right? Where are you busting at the seams? Hold here, another 12 breaths. Surrender and seek the silence. Excellent. Turning the toes towards the knees. Same thing. What's different here? Keeping the toes towards the knees. How does the fabric feel here? 12 breaths. And when you're ready to come out, come out. Come out, come out, wherever you are. Did you find that as hard as I did? It's so hard to sit in your own vulnerability. It's so hard to be uncomfortable, right? It's hard, but that's the work. The mind is the work. Okay, I'd like you to head towards your final posture, but I'm going to give you some time to find another posture. So if you wanted to go and do a Sphinx pose where you're going to turn over and counter some of that back bend, if you've been doing a lot of sitting in the car, maybe that needs to be counteracted. So you might go into a Sphinx pose to finish yourself up, which is just elbows underneath your shoulders. You could also bring your forehead to the third eye to the thumbs. You could go up to your downward dog. And if you haven't done a down dog today, I do recommend it. Finding another posture that serves you. Downward dog, Sphinx, and moving your way to your Shavasana, whatever it is that you want to move towards. Maybe another twist. And then when you're ready, moving to Shavasana. Another 3 or 4 breaths to get there. And then moving towards your stillness. Making sure that everything feels supported. The head, the arms, the legs, everything feels as balanced as you can make them. And again, slight tuning of the mind, a slight subtle shift of the mind. See if you can drop below the sounds. Where behind the sound is silence. Now, if this has been a challenging practice for you today, one of the reasons is because we don't have the silence within us. It's only the silence within us that can find the silence outside of us. So if you're not able to hear the silence outside of us, then that just means that you're calibrating that silence inside of you, right? So I'm going to be quiet here and see if you can tune your mind to the silence inside of you. That space between the breaths, that space between the thoughts, very subtle, very challenging. And then using that part of your mind to seek it outside. Let's go for another minute here.
Beautiful. All right. Take your time in this next 5 to 7 minutes and let yourself grab the lessons, seek the lessons, absorb the lessons that you were meant to get today. And as always, may this work be of deep benefit to you. Thank you so much for jumping on the mat. Thank you so much for doing this hard work. It is challenging. So I see you and I'm glad. All right, deep bows. Next time. Much love.